Jimmy. Hey Mark, have you heard about the recent financial losses of several financial companies? Some of them are even experiencing heavier losses than last year. According to a report by MB Securities, FE Credit's pre-tax loss in 2023 accumulated to 529 billion VND, which is 408 billion VND higher than the loss in 2022. Mark. Yes, I've read about it too. The bank is currently restructuring FE Credit. Although it hasn't contributed to profits yet, FE Credit hasn't been making losses in the last 6 months of the year. Previously, in the first half of 2023, FE Credit's after-tax loss was up to 996 billion VND. FE Credit was established in February 2015 as a wholly owned subsidiary of VP Bank. In October 2021, VP Bank completed the sale of a 49% stake in FE Credit to SMBC Consumer Finance, a wholly owned subsidiary of Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group of Japan. Jimmy, the decline in demand for loans as well as the provisioning for bad debts and exploded debts are the main reasons for the erosion of profits of consumer finance companies in the past year due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic recession. Mark. That's true. I also heard that there are groups on social networks that instruct people on how to borrow and then not pay back their loans. There have even been cases of debt collectors being assaulted. Jimmy. That's terrible. This not only affects financial companies but also the entire economy. Mark. Exactly. The State Bank of Vietnam has also spoken out about this issue and required financial companies to take measures to address it. Jimmy. I hope this situation will improve soon. Mark. Me too. Jimmy. Not paying back loans can lead to borrowers being blacklisted, which will make it difficult for them to borrow from banks in the future. Not paying back loans not only affects the borrower's credit reputation, but can also lead to legal problems. Financial companies need to be more careful in screening loan applications and take strong measures against those who do not pay back their loans. Mark. You're right. If the amount of money borrowed is large, borrowers can even be sued in court. Jimmy. In my opinion, financial companies need to be more careful in screening loan applications to minimize the risk of bad debts. Mark. I agree. In addition, financial companies also need to take strong measures against those who do not pay back their loans, such as selling the debt to debt collection companies. Jimmy. Borrowers also need to be responsible when borrowing and repaying loans. They need to carefully consider before borrowing money and only borrow when they have the ability to repay it. Mark. Absolutely. Not paying back loans not only affects the borrower himself but also his family and society. Global gold prices are hitting record highs one after another, and here are some of the reasons why. From central banks to Costco shoppers, it seems like everyone is buying gold these days. At the close of trading on April 9th, spot gold was up 0.1% to $2,341.85 an ounce, after hitting a record high of $2,365.09 an ounce. Gold futures rose 0.4% to $2,360.70 an ounce. Gold has gained 16.5% so far this year. According to CNN, expectations of interest rate cuts by the U.S. Federal Reserve, Fed, this year have fueled the current rally. However, there are other factors driving up the price of gold, including geopolitical tensions, central bank buying, led by China, to reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar and retail demand. Central bank buying. Central banks view gold as a long-term store of value and a safe haven in times of volatility. Official data released on April 7th showed that the People's Bank of China, PBOC, has increased its gold reserves for the 17th consecutive month. The PBOC's gold holdings rose 0.2% in March to 2,273 tons, the highest since November 2015. According to a research report by Capital Economics, Chinese investors are turning to gold as an alternative asset amid falling property and stock prices in recent years. Other central banks, including India and Turkey, are also increasing their gold reserves. Data from the Reserve Bank of India showed that it added 6 tons of gold in February alone, bringing its total gold holdings to 817 tons. The country's increased gold purchases are a strategy to diversify its foreign exchange reserves and mitigate risks associated with currency fluctuations and economic instability. The Central Bank of Russia has also been ramping up its gold accumulation since the conflict with Ukraine. The country's gold reserves have reached a record high of $155.9 billion by the end of 2023. The World Gold Council, WGC, believes that gold is an important component of central bank reserves globally. This is because gold is safe, liquid, and can generate income. These institutions are also the largest holders of gold in the world, accounting for 20% of all gold mined to date. Central bank buying has been pushing up the price of gold since 2022. Expectations of U.S. Federal Reserve, Fed, interest rate cuts this year. In a report published yesterday by UBS, Switzerland, the bank believes that expectations of Fed rate cuts remain the main driver for gold. The price of gold often moves inversely with interest rates, as the precious metal does not pay a fixed income. The CME FedWatch tool shows that the market is currently forecasting a 51% chance of the Fed cutting rates by 0.25 percentage points in June. This expectation has supported the gold price since late 2023, when U.S. inflation cooled significantly, and the Fed held rates steady for the past 6 months. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said in a speech on April 3rd that the fight against inflation is still a relatively bumpy road. However, policy easing could still begin at some point later this year. Geopolitical tensions. This is also a factor impacting the gold market, as it is a traditional safe haven. This year, voters in over 60 countries will participate in elections, including the U.S. presidential election. Some experts believe that these economic and political volatilities will continue to drive gold prices to new highs. Retail demand? In addition, some investors are buying gold due to the bullish sentiment on gold bars as they rise in price, which further pushes up the price of gold. On social media platform Reddit, many gold buyers often post articles showing off their gold vaults. In the U.S., Costco, the supermarket chain, started selling gold bars online in August last year. According to Wells Fargo estimates, the company is now selling up to $200 million worth of gold and silver each month. Chief Financial Officer Richard Galanti also told analysts in December last year that the company sold over $100 million of gold bars in the previous quarter. The frequency of posts on Reddit has increased. Gold is quickly sold out online, and monthly sales have increased significantly, Wells Fargo's report showed. According to analysts, the phenomenon of trend followers and those who want to buy gold to ride the price hike wave proves that gold prices could continue to rise in the long term. Maybank IBG Research believes that the State Bank of Vietnam, SBV, may accept larger foreign exchange fluctuations and will keep interest rates unchanged while waiting for the Fed's first rate cut, which could be in June 2024. In its April strategy report, Maybank IBG Research said that Q1 2024 GDP grew strongly thanks to gradually improving demand. Inflation in March decreased by 0.23% compared to the previous month, creating more room for the SBV to adjust policy. However, the escalating exchange rate is a notable issue. The VND, listed by Vietcombank, continued to depreciate in March, down 0.6% against the USD. Although the decline was lower than the 0.7% and 0.9% declines in January and February, respectively, this decline has brought the VND to its lowest level ever. According to Maybank IBG Research, the reasons for the VND's depreciation against the USD are 1. High Fed interest rates. 2. The widening gap between global and domestic gold prices. 3. Increasing imports of raw materials, such as fuel, steel, by domestic enterprises. This research division expects the gap between domestic and global gold prices to narrow soon as authorities have identified the problem and will plug legal loopholes to stabilize the market. However, high Fed interest rates have been the main factor affecting Vietnam's foreign exchange market for the past 2 years. Fed rates have been flat since July 2023, and no FOMC member expected to raise rates further at the most recent meeting in March 2024. While long-term rates are expected to be higher in 2025 to 2026 and last longer, the actual meeting's dot plot maintained a forecast of 3 rate cuts totaling 75 basis points this year. Maybank IBG research believes that the SBV is sticking to its accommodative stance as economic recovery is the top priority. The SBV will continue to use tools such as jawboning and T-bill issuance to raise VND interbank rates, which are not usually correlated with the rates that commercial banks apply to customers, in the coming time. Importantly, the SBV may accept larger foreign exchange fluctuations, up to 4 to 5% as last year compared to 2.3% as of March 29, 2024. The SBV will keep interest rates unchanged while waiting for the Fed's first rate cut, which could be in June 2024, Maybank IBG research predicts. In March, Vietnam's market upgrade to emerging market status by FTSE took a step forward when the State Securities Commission announced and solicited public comments for about 30 days on a draft circular to abolish the pre-funding requirement. This has helped to boost the market. However, the upward momentum is slowing as the VN index is approaching the resistance zone of 1,290, 1,330 points. Moreover, according to Maybank IBG research, margin lending at some securities companies is currently approaching the peak of 2022. With some securities companies tightening margin more, this research division believes that the market will correct in April, but not much. Maybank IBG research believes that this will be an opportunity to accumulate stocks as the economic and stock market outlook is brighter. This research division forecasts GDP growth of 5.8% year-on-year in 2024, compared to 5.05% in 2023, thanks to exports and domestic consumption. A stronger recovery is expected in the second half of 2024.
Joey, hey Anna, I've been hearing a lot about understanding people's true colors lately. Do you think it's really possible? Anna, I believe it is, Joey. The human heart is complex, but if we know how to observe, we can recognize some signs to understand them better. Joey, that sounds interesting. Can you share some tips on how to see through people's hearts? Anna, sure. In my opinion, there are 3 important moments to observe and evaluate a person. Do you know the saying, when angry, a person will reveal their true nature? When faced with anger, each person will react differently. People with good character will know how to control their emotions and avoid hurting others. On the other hand, those with dark hearts will easily lash out at those around them. Joey, I remember once going to dinner with a friend. He confessed his love for a girl right at the restaurant but was rejected. He got so angry that he threw away the flowers, cursed, and even almost hit the waiter. Seeing that scene, I was really scared and disappointed in him. Anna, exactly, Joey. That's a typical example of how a person's true nature is revealed when they are angry. People often say, lending money reveals the human heart. When someone lends you money, they are not obligated to do so, but because they trust and value you. If you don't pay back the money or shirk your responsibility, it shows that you are a person of low integrity and untrustworthy. Joey, I agree with you. I once had a friend who borrowed money from me but then refused to pay it back. When I mentioned paying back the money, he even got upset and avoided me. After that experience, I realized that I shouldn't lend money to people like that. Anna, right, Joey. Repaying a loan is an important measure of a person's character. When faced with difficulties in life, people often have different reactions. Some will complain, blame others, and even hate the world. However, there are also those who remain optimistic, tolerant, and treat others kindly. Joey, I remember reading a story about a wealthy man who had a misfortune and lost everything. While walking on the street, he met a beggar boy and gave him all the money he had left. His act really touched and impressed me. Anna, you're right, Joey. In the most difficult circumstances, a person's good qualities will shine even brighter. Joey, Anna, thank you for sharing these tips. I will apply them to see through people's hearts and build good relationships in life. Anna, don't hesitate, Joey. Always be observant and wise to recognize sincere and respectful people. Jessica, Jane, I've been hearing a lot about understanding people's true colors through their eating habits. Do you think it's true? Jane, I believe it has some basis, Jessica. While human personality is complex, by observing small actions when eating, we can gain a better understanding of them. Jessica, that sounds interesting. Can you share some tips on how to see through people's hearts through their eating habits? Jane, sure. In my opinion, there are 4 important points to pay attention to. When eating with others, observe how they treat the waiter or waitress. If they are arrogant, demanding, or complaining, they may be selfish and disrespectful of others. Jessica, I remember once going out to eat with a friend. She kept complaining about the food and called the waiter over and over again with an unpleasant attitude. After that day, I didn't want to eat with her anymore. Jane, that's right, Jessica. By the way they treat the serving staff, we can somewhat assess a person's character and integrity. Jane, also pay attention to whether they ask your opinion when ordering food. Respecting your preferences and desires shows thoughtfulness and sensitivity in communication. Jessica, I agree with you. A good friend will always listen to and respect your opinion in everything, even when ordering food. Jane, when eating together, sharing and being considerate of others shows politeness and care. Jessica, true. I find that mature and understanding people often know how to give up their share for children or the elderly during a meal. Jane, a person with a good character will always know how to adjust their behavior to suit the situation. When eating with others, they will not eat too quickly, too much, or spill food. Jessica, I remember once going out to eat with a friend. He ate very quickly and spilled food everywhere. It made me feel uncomfortable and lost favor with him. Jane, eating speed can reveal some aspects of a person's personality. Eating too quickly is often a sign of impatience and lack of patience. Jessica, I also eat quickly, but I'm trying to improve this habit. I realize that eating slowly helps me enjoy the food better and is also good for my health. Jane, eating rudely and not being hygienic is also a minus point in communication. Jessica, I agree. A person who knows how to maintain hygiene and a good image when eating will create a good impression on others. Jane, who pays the bill after the meal can also reveal a person's character. Jessica, true. A generous and thoughtful person will take the initiative to pay or share the bill happily. Jane, on the other hand, stingy people who only know how to take advantage of others often find ways to avoid paying. Jessica, through your sharing, I realized that observing eating habits can help me better understand a person's character and qualities. Thank you so much, Jane. Lily, Susan, do you know about the seaweed that is effective for weight loss and lowering blood sugar? I'm looking to lose weight. Susan, I've also learned about this dish, Lily. Seaweed is known as a superfood because it contains many nutrients that are good for health, especially in supporting weight loss. Lily, that sounds interesting. Can you share more about the benefits of seaweed for weight loss and lowering blood sugar? Susan, sure. According to research, seaweed has some outstanding features that help burn fat effectively. 1. Rich in fiber. The fiber in seaweed helps increase intestinal motility, promote digestion, and eliminate waste from the body, thereby effectively reducing belly fat. 2. Low in calories. Seaweed is very low in calories, with only about 25 calories per 100 g. Therefore, it is an ideal food for those who want to lose weight. 3. Supports blood sugar lowering. Seaweed has the ability to control blood sugar levels, helping to prevent and support the treatment of diabetes. 4. Boosts metabolism. Seaweed helps boost metabolism, burn calories effectively, and support weight loss. 5. Reduces cholesterol. Seaweed has the ability to reduce bad cholesterol, LDL, helping to protect cardiovascular health. Lily, wow, that sounds impressive. So what delicious dishes can be made from seaweed? Susan, there are many ways to process seaweed into delicious dishes, Lily. For example, seaweed salad. This is the simplest and easiest dish to make. You just need to mix seaweed with your favorite vegetables, add a little sauce, and you have a refreshing and nutritious salad. Seaweed soup. Seaweed can be cooked into many delicious and nutritious soups, such as seaweed soup with minced meat, seaweed soup with tofu, seaweed soup with chicken eggs. Seaweed salad. Seaweed salad is an appetizer that many people love. You can combine seaweed with seafood such as shrimp, squid, crab, to create a delicious and nutritious salad. Seaweed sushi. Sushi is a Japanese dish that is loved by many people. You can use seaweed to roll rice, vegetables, and seafood to create delicious and beautiful sushi. Lily. Thank you, Susan, for the helpful information. I will try to process seaweed into delicious dishes to add to my daily menu. Susan. Don't hesitate, Lily. Be creative and experiment with seaweed recipes to find dishes that suit your taste.